This is Dr. David Allen coming to you on the television program, People Helping People. We have a special program for you tonight. It's entitled, What Do Young People Want? And to answer that question is my relative, my niece, Beijing Rogers, who is quite a character. Beijing, what do young people want?
Well, first of all, can I say thank you so much, Uncle David, for having me on your show, People Helping People. What a blessing. I'm honored to be here with you. Thank you. So, what do young people want? I think young people want, according to my conversations with them and my youth development empowerment work and the marginalized communities, and also just my youth mentorship work. I think they want to be able to live a good life. They want to be able to live a good life, have a fair chance, and really want to make sure that their voice is heard in the matters that concern them most.
Now, you've been around the world. You've been to India this year, and I heard you hear the Indians jumping. I hear you've been to Chile, you've been to Israel, you've been to New York, you've been to Haiti, and I guess you can go anywhere in the world you want. Why do you want to stay in the Bahamas?
Why do I want to stay in the Bahamas?
What attracts you to the Bahamas?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. Listen, I love the Bahamas. I love our country.
Why?
I love our Bahamians. I'm going to get there, Uncle David. And I love, I think God just did something very special here in the Bahamas, just through our natural landscape. I mean, just that in itself. I love nature, I love how God just created the nature here. Is just absolutely beautiful. There's no other place on the planet that I've seen that looks like this, and that makes me feel special. That makes me feel special that I come from such a jewel of a country. I also love our Bahamians. You hear all the time, oh, I love the Bahamas. I love the Bahamas. I love our country. I love our nation. But I never really heard people say, I love Bahamians. Bahamians actually saying that. I've heard, foreigners say that. But I do love our Bahamians. I think that we are the most brilliant people. I think we are resilient. I think we're hardworking. When we get the opportunity, we soar. I mean, look at all of the Bahamians that had opportunities to live abroad, work abroad, travel abroad. I mean, their names are just being glorified for their work ethic, for the person that they are, their character, just their personalities. Bahamians are very jovial, kind persons. Funny, man. And Bahamians are so funny. I love it. Obviously, like every nation, we have negative attributes, right? But I will try to focus on the positive and enhance the strengths. And those are just some of the reasons as to why I love the Bahamas.
Now, you went to India. What were you doing in India?
India!
Trying to find enlightenment? Yeah. Did you have a guru there? What were you doing in India?
Definitely not trying to find enlightenment, but
you wore a sari, right?
I did wear a sari. That's a story. I'm going to try and condense that. So, it's hard to do that, but I'm going to try. So, I went to India, right? It's always been a dream to go to India. I had no idea that I was going to go to India in my 20s. I thought that was going to be something in my 30s or 40s. It was not even in my plan of 2022 to go to India, much less go to India and fulfill my dream as a little girl, my dream to become an international youth speaker.
And you spoke in India?
I did. Much less go to India, fulfill my dream, and speak to 20,000 people.
What did you tell the Indians?
I shared the legacy that I want to leave behind for the young people, the orphanages that I plan to build all around the world, the schools that I plan to establish. I just think things have to happen differently in order for us to progress as human beings, I was put on this earth to lead the youth. That's what God told me when I was 12 years old. So it's been a very adventurous journey of trying to figure out, what does that mean? I'm a young person. What do you mean lead the youth?
When you saw all those people in India, in that big continent, and you
Yeah.
had them jumping in their saris, and what were you
India?
what were they jumping for?
So I went to India. I went to India with a man named Will Harris and his organization called the Willpower Humanitarian Organization. He is one of the most incredible human beings I've ever met. Vivacious, trailblazer, makes things happen. He's set out to change the world. You know, his
Sounds like
legacy,
you.
and he does sound like me. That's why we got along so well. And that is also why he took me under his wing and he pointed at me and he said, Beijing, you're going to be my greatest investment. This all happened because he came to the Bahamas. I met him here in the Bahamas, and he's sharing his vision. He was sharing, you know, his legacy, what he wants to leave behind. And that is to build 11 orphanages around the world. And so he said at the end of the retreat of the place where I met him, he said, Beijing, you're going to India. I was like, sorry, what? He goes, yeah. And Beijing, you're speaking to 20,000 people. I was like, sorry, what? What is happening? Lo and behold, I'm on a plane, many hours, 16 hours in India. The moment I get there, in Nagpur, India, because that's where the plane landed before we had to take a 3-hour drive to Amravati, which is in the state of Maharashtra. So we're in the state Maharashtra. So the moment I landed in India, we get our bikes, and there was a father and a son just waiting around for somebody, I guess, to pick up from the airport. I'm walking to the car with my bags. I got a tap on my shoulder. I look back. It's the same father that I saw in that area. And he goes, Ma'am, take a picture with son. Take a picture of my son.
They wanted a picture. Why?
I have no idea. To this day, I have no idea.
They like your spirit.
But maybe. But my thing is I don't even look different. Like I feel like I could pass for an Indian, you know? And so
They seem to love you.
Listen, Uncle David, after that, I finally get into car. I get inside the car, and then another man a random stranger, but I love strangers. But a random stranger knocks on the car door and he goes, Ma'am, selfie. So I come out of the car and take a selfie with this man. I was like, what is going on? And that happened through the entire trip.
What did the Indians see in you?
I have no idea. I mean, no idea.
Well, I know you're vivacious, you're alive, you're enthusiastic.
But they didn't even meet me. They just saw me walking to the car. But now, you know, throughout the trip, when we had different speaking engagements, when we got to interact with Indians in the hotels, the maids and the concierge wanted to take pictures with me when we went to get like coffee from the coffee shop. I just thought it was really weird. And I've never, ever had culture shock in my entire life. I've slummed it through mission trips in Haiti, the most impoverished areas in the world. And I've, you know, been able to experience some high standard living. But in all of the countries and adventures and travel opportunities that I've experienced, I've never had culture shock until India, and all these people just wanted selfies. I mean, but the Indians...
When you talk to them, what did you talk about?
So I spoke to them about, you know, the legacy that I would love to leave behind for young people and the work that I'm doing all across the world in the Bahamas. You know, I told them about how there are young people passionate over there that, you know, wants to see other young people win.
And you wore a sari?
And I wore a sari. I got a custom-made sari.
And you jumped in your sari too?
Yes. No. Did I that day? No, I didn't. But I did walk through the streets of this beautiful village before we were waiting to speak. So we had to get up at 4:30 a.m. in the morning. I mean, I have all of this, you know, documented on my social media platforms. But we had to get up so early. There were like 20,000 people just waiting. There was a huge ceremony because we were celebrating a life of a legendary man, a humanitarian that made this part of Maharashtra, this part of India, flourish by his work of helping the marginalized and the vulnerable young people and adults in that village. And so he's dead now. And so every year they come to celebrate at this event. And this year we were the the guest speakers. Me and my team were the guest speakers to share our legacy of how we're trying to change the world. And it was just one of the most incredible opportunities.
What did you say? What did you speak on?
I spoke on how we need to pay attention to the young people, and I truly believe that there's a war on our youth and on our children through lack of education, lack of resources, lack of opportunities, and we need to do something about it. Lack of identity. I mean, we're seeing that so much now. Everyone wants to be some other gender, but that's not how we are created. And we're seeing that, especially here in our Bahamas, just going rampant. And it breaks my heart. And one of my, purposes is to say, like, hey, like, you were created just with the perfect amount of passion, gifts, talents, skin pigment to be who God has created you to be. Like, he made no mistake. But there is a war against that. And, heartbreakingly, they're believing in the lie. They're believing in culture and all the culture, all what culture and society is trying to dictate to them when it's lies. Mm-hmm. And so I believe that one of my callings is to spread the truth that Jesus is the answer, like
What was it like to see all the people in India?
I've never seen so many people. I've never seen so many people in the same room. I mean, you keep looking back and there were more people like in the back of it was absolutely incredible. And then afterwards, every time we did a speaking engagement, we had security. So we had security of young people who were part of the Willpower humanitarian organization. And these young people gave me hope for young people. I mean, they organized everything for that trip. They organized the speaking engagements. They organized the conferences. They at the universities. They organized the laying of bricks ceremony that we had for the orphanage that was going to be built there. So I even got to experience that. I've never met anyone that wanted to build an orphanage, but I had to go many thousand miles across the world to witness that, and then to see all these other young people who were passionate about the same thing. My heart blew up. That entire trip blew up my heart, and I can cry right now. And I feel like I'm shouting. Sorry, there's my passion.
Wonderful.
But yeah, so there was security, and there are security. These young people, these 20-something-year-olds, and all of us, the speakers, the guest speakers, were in the middle of it.
So it gave you hope then?
It gave me hope. It gave me hope. The moment that happened, I said, now I believe young people could change the world. We could do it.
Wow.
We could do it. It's because of those. I mean, how diligent and how dedicated
they're
they were with
hardworking
their
people.
work. Yes,
and they are the most kindest. Very bright.
The kindest persons.
We're going to take a break and be right back.